Hey guys, this is Christopher D. Connors, and this is Championship Leadership. Welcome to this episode, and one of the things that I'm here to talk about today is a foundational piece of what makes a championship leader. What I know that comes back to in the end, and what really makes the foundation of a championship leader, is what I call the self-awareness game plan. So much of what championship leadership is founded on is emotional intelligence, and a cornerstone piece of what emotional intelligence is all about is self-awareness. So where does self-awareness really begin? And it starts with the content of your character. What am I talking about there? These game plan pieces are your passion, your values, purpose, mission, and goals. It's our strengths, right? But it's also the skills that we have. It's the skills that we currently have, and it's being able to do a gap analysis around knowing exactly where you want to get to and what skills that you want to acquire. So let's break down what all of these things even mean in the first place. Your passion is what ignites you. It's part of what makes your drive, your motivation, and your desire. So your passion is what lights the fire inside of you. And I ask you to think about that in terms of not just what ignites you and lights the fire inside of you on a personal level, but what are those things on a professional level? Because the perfect union for where you want to go, both in your life and in your career, is bringing those two things even closer together. So passion. And you can simply begin with an exercise in part around the things that motivate you. What inspires you? What excites you? What are things that when you do them, you feel better and you really enjoy them? And you love to do them so much that you like to talk about them. You like to share them with others, and maybe in some even instances, you like to coach or teach people on them. So think about what really makes you passionate, because that's such a big part of your self-awareness game plan. Your values are the ideals and principles that guide you throughout the winds and changes of life. They will be there for you to anchor you. And they're really these foundational components and principles that help you to make smart decisions. They guide the way that you communicate, how you see and identify opportunities, but it's also how you treat people in the end. And so these could be things like honesty, integrity, kindness, fun. They could be love. They could be competition. There's all different kinds of values that, in my mind, are the things that they don't necessarily change. They anchor you so that when things are changing around you and you are adapting to the different seasons of change, you're able to come back to these values that you know are going to be there and are going to give you that foundation that you need in life. Your purpose is really simple. It's why you're doing what you're doing. So think about that. And you can even begin by just asking yourself that question. I always say it's not easy to answer this question. It might look easy. It's hard. But just thinking about, hey, what is the reason? What is the purpose? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I pursuing these opportunities? Why did I make these decisions? And a lot of it with purpose comes back to being able to strategically think about it and to reflect upon it, but just knowing and understanding all of the components of things that ultimately impact how we think, what we say, what we do, and how we move forward in life. Your mission is how you define success. And I'm not here to give you the answer to that, because one of the biggest things that I like to say to people about having a game plan is that you are the one that gets to define what success is. And ideally, it's going to be something that brings you a sense of self-satisfaction, something that in some instances brings you happiness, success, fulfillment, but something that you can define so that you will know that, hey, when I am doing this, when I'm doing these things, or the way that I want to carry myself out as a leader, as an individual, with my family, with my business, I am going to use these words here. I'm going to put together maybe a 1 or 2 sentence description of, if I'm doing this, I am succeeding. I believe that I'm taking the right steps forward, which is going to inform how you know whether you keep moving forward or whether you change course, right? Having success measures that back that up. These are the examples. These are the more tactical actions of the things that if I do these things, they're going to add up to my definition of success. Those are success measures. Goals, I kind of go old school on this one, guys. And I know that there's a lot of different guidance around and things about what make up goals, but I really do believe that you are best guided to follow The SMART goal acronym that's been around for quite a long time. George T. Doran first defined that. S is for being specific. Above anything, when I'm giving people guidance for setting a goal, or when I'm giving someone guidance for, even if it's giving feedback to someone in the workplace, or if it's giving guidance to someone, be specific. Don't just speak in generalities. Get really specific about what you're trying to achieve, how you're defining something. M is measurable. Having statistics, having data, having specific things that you can measure your progress with. So SMART goals. S, we just went to specific, measurable. M. A is attainable or achievable. Is it realistic? Like, hey, can I do this? Can I really actually achieve this? What is the time frame that I'm looking at? It begins to lend to conversations around maybe even prioritization. How achievable is this within, this time window, or within where I'm at right now for the skills that I have, the components of who I am. R is realistic, and that is evaluating, again, it kind of goes back in some ways to attainable and achievable, but it's being real with yourself, because nothing is worse than having dreams and then you have goals, but they're not able to realistically be accomplished within a certain amount of time. So be realistic about what you're trying to do. And T is time-bound or time-based, defining a specific period for that. So I think about a lot of the work that I've done with clients over the years. You have a given project. Projects have a definite start and end date. And I think goals as well, you want to have them be time-bound to specific periods of time. And the easy way to look at that is to plan goals by months or by quarters or by weeks, or specific things that are going to give you that criteria. Skills are just the things that you've acquired, what you've learned along the way, and being able to do a gap analysis of what you have and really, again, kind of what you're wanting to achieve. And I would look at that both from an IQ and an emotional intelligence standpoint around relationship building, around social skill. Are you becoming maybe in some instances a better communicator? And last but not least, it's your strengths. It's the things that you naturally do well. And I mean that both in business and in life. So thinking about, what do I naturally do well? How do I show up in the workplace as a leader? How am I affecting change and influencing people around me? How am I showing up as a parent, as a brother, as a son, as a daughter, as a wife, etc.? So just in the way that, what are things you naturally do well? You might naturally be very talented at technical aptitude, or you might be an artist. You might be a good orator or communicator. One great tool to get there is a tool that I've used with executives and leaders for many, many years now. It's called Clifton Strengths, or Strengths Finder. And that's a tool that I use all the time that basically enables you to understand objectively what your strengths are and what you do well. The other way to go about pursuing that information is to certainly ask other people for feedback, something that I'm a very big proponent of. And so, guys, self-awareness begins with that game plan. This is a tool that I have on my website, chrisdconnors.com, CHRISDCONNORS.com. I have the self-awareness game plan tool for free, and it breaks down all the definitions for you. And really, self-awareness from there comes back to a couple of other things. Understanding and recognizing the different stimuli and things that we react to, and how we respond, how we take in information, and how we begin to analyze and make sense of it. Another big part of self-awareness, as I talked about, is informed by feedback. So I encourage you to proactively solicit feedback, to get feedback from people that you trust, that you know, that can inform you and are going to be there to guide you. Feedback is so important to anybody as a learner, as a leader. It's how we live life, and it's how we understand what to put in our wake behind us, but also what to take with us. So sometimes that might organically come up, that you'll be able to get feedback through the course of your career and in life, but always pursue it as well. And the other part about self-awareness that I wanted to hit on is just, it's how we perceive others to see us. And in some instances, it's how we perceive, we're taking somebody in when we're talking to them. It's reading the room or reading the audience. It's something that I know a lot, and I do a lot when I'm speaking to audiences. I'm always trying to understand and recognize how someone is reacting to me. But think about how important that is in relationships from a self-awareness standpoint. It's something that we can do. So there you go. Wanted to start this out to share a little bit more about what my self-awareness game plan is all about. It is the foundation of championship leadership. I share more about that in my book, The Champion Leader. Thank you so much for tuning into this Championship Leadership podcast. This is Christopher D. Connors. Lead like a champion.